Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. I am Robin Nicole, the Inspiration Specialist, and I am wired to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. I just want to say thank you guys for listening, and I'm going to jump right in per usual. So the word that God had given me to share is that you have to be careful of the spirit of obsession in this season. There was a difference between obsession and support. Okay. And for some reason in the social media world, and in particular on this platform, there are a lot of people who listen in and take in what you say and what you do. And if they don't like it, they will begin to word curse you because, there's millions and billions of people in the world. We don't know who's looking at what. People are so crazy. They'll read somebody's comment that they don't like and they'll try to word curse that person in a comment and you might not even know about it. There are people who are obsessed. They look at all of your stuff. They're constantly just really, really being pushy and overdoing things. And it's kind of like an elephant in the room, especially for a person like myself who genuinely just wants to do what God is telling me to do because I don't want to get in trouble with God. If you personally know me, you know that I have particular desires and this is absolutely not one of them. But if God wanted me to speak on this very quickly, then I shall. We have to be careful. Now, this goes for two people. You have to be careful that you are not obsessing or projecting too much on someone, and that is not God. You cannot do that in the name of the Lord. There's some things that are just way too much. And the enemy is making you a pawn in his game under the guise of Christianity, and you don't even realize it. The second thing is you could be the person that is supportive and, somebody could be coming at you like they're obsessed with you, right? You could be the one who's doing it or you could be the recipient of it, right? Either way, this is not something that God is cool with and access on any side. And I'm a proponent of the statement, if you've heard it before, too much of anything is not good. I just think that there has to be a balance. There has to be some type of balance. And even when the Bible talks about pray without ceasing, I mentioned to somebody one time about over praying, and I think they misunderstood what I was saying. And I'm actually going to make a video about that because when you pray without ceasing, you pray. Y'all, I wrote a prayer book. Come on. I literally made a prayer book. So I'm a proponent of praying. But what I'm going to talk about in that video is how, when I say over pray, I don't literally mean you're over praying. Stop praying for that. But there comes a time when prayer could be, some people turn prayers into conjuring or even, what's the word I want to say? What is the word I want to say, y'all? My goodness, it just slipped my mind. Oh, goodness. Bring it back to me, Father. But anyway, it turns into, obsessively praying, constantly talking about this particular thing, but not from a place of faith. When I say over praying, it's really like me saying, don't let your PRAYs turn into PREYs because you're trying to get a person to do something. You're trying to get a person to say something. You're trying to get God to give you this and give you that. And it might not necessarily be inside his will. So I'm actually going to do another video on that. But I say all of that to say, we want to be very careful that we are balanced and that we are literally in position the way God wants us to so that he can use us and we can hear him properly. If we are overly tuned in and tapped into people and what people are saying, and we are not putting that same amount of energy into God, we just literally, whatever someone else is doing in social media, these public platforms, you're just completely jumping in on it. Learn how to take a breather. Learn how to let stuff sit a minute. And I'm going to tell y'all, like I tell y'all in almost every video, ask God if that's for you. The reason why I feel God led me to do this video is because this is very subtle. This is not something that's very obvious. Okay. And sometimes it takes over a person so much they don't even realize that that's what they're doing. Okay. So I want you all to make sure that you are prayed up and make sure that you pray and ask God to block and stop, cut off at the root. You hear me? Not cut it off, Ask him to cut off at the root, dig up the root, the remnants, the residue, all of it. Wipe it out, get rid of it. Send it back to the fiery pits of hell from whence it came, never to return, but replace it with the heavenly counterpart. Put the thing that God wants in that space, not where they put those nasty roots and try to speak things on you and obsess about you and put all of these nasty, crazy things out there towards you. We can't have that. And somebody got to speak out about it. We have to be careful. Now a ton of you, this will not apply to, but remember, we want to be on a side of support. We want to be on a healthy, balanced side of support. There's a thin line in some cases between support and obsession. And we want to make sure we're on the right side of right with that. Okay. Because God is very clear in his word about how he feels about jealousy and how he feels about you putting anyone before him. If there's any type of obsession, anything that goes beyond support and is not, and that, that's not inside the will of God, that is idolatry. That is why this word is so important, because there's some of you who are genuinely wanting to hear from God, genuinely wanting to hear from him, genuinely trying to seek him. You are excited, but make sure you constantly go back to the Lord. In fact, y'all, it is my prayer. I am literally on this platform. But it is my prayer that you begin to have an even deeper prayer life. If you just listen to these supplementally and you listen to them every blue moon or whenever you get a chance, that's wonderful. But even if you do that, I want you to go so hard and spending that quality time with God that he will literally have to come to you in your prayer time and literally say, hey, go look at this, this, and this. Because y'all, this is how we defeat the enemy. This is how we defeat the enemy. This is how we do it. Obsession plays out in so many weird forms, because what happens is you see it in the comments. You see, I don't know about you all, but I know for me, I can feel people pulling on me sometime. And it's just like, yo, I got to do some warring in the spirit, because you're not going to be handling me like that. It's not always in front of your face. People can do some really weird demonic things under the guise of Christ. And it's not the Lord at all, like not in any form or fashion. But they think the just shall take it by force. No, sweetie, you're not just. You're trying to take something by force demonically because you want to get somebody's attention, or you want someone to believe what you want them to believe. Well, that is why I had to say this word. This is not, I don't even know if I even heard a word like this out, but I have to say it, and I'm going to say it. And I just pray for all of those who do take the risk of being on these platforms, and you are subject to possibly having this experience. And I also want to pray for those of you who are pure in heart. You are supportive, you are kind, you are genuine, you are caring. And, sometimes you can get caught up in a crossfire of things like that, even in the comments. I just pray that you can protect your ear gates and your eye gates, and you can be in a space of peace so that you can hear God also for yourself. Again, this is only a couple people this message is going to apply to. This is definitely not a word for the masses. Not that God is showing me, but I just wanted to be obedient and share it. And I pray that whomever it is for, it blesses you. I'm wired to inspire. I hope you are too.